And actually, let's start to enter more in details about what happened in Hanifaru, how the whole marine protected area developed, and the management plans and regulations, etc. Everything started actually quite a few years ago, back in 2007. All the resorts of Baa Atoll came together. The main reason at the time was not Hanifaru Bay, which was not overexploited at the time. It was not very famous and not very highly visited, but the main issue was still shark fishing. So shark populations were being decimated in the Maldives, and so resorts of Baa Atoll came together to try and fight the shark finning, shark fishery, and to stop that from happening, because sharks are another of the massive and major touristic attractions in the country. So all resorts came together and founded the Baa Atoll Project, which then became in the last few years the Baa Atoll Resorts United. And together, well, obviously, as you know, shark fishing was then banned in 2008 after Nasheed came into power. And one of his first environmental achievements was to ban shark fishing, ban trade for these animals, and now sharks are slowly repopulating the countries. Thank for that for happening. But the Baa Atoll project was already there. Resorts were together, and they were wondering what more could be done to preserve the atoll, to preserve the fragile ecosystems surrounding the resort. And obviously one of the major attractions there was Hanifaru Bay, so the concentration and the attention went there. And they worked together to create guidelines, code of conducts, best behavior into that area where whale sharks, that whale shark visited and mantas visited, giant animals, fragile animals that can be heavily impacted by the tourism. And so at first this was just guidelines and code of conducts that were shared among resorts and site users, but was not a legislation at the time. Then in 2007, a striking news, Hanifaru Bay was actually going to be leased for private development, not knowing exactly what was going to happen, but was going to become private, and it was probably going to develop commercially. So that was obviously a very sad news, considering what you saw happening in Hanifaru, something that cannot happen anywhere else in the world, and that was probably going to stop from happening. And obviously, this put a lot of pressure on researchers and scientists and conservationists to bring up the attention about the importance of that place for mantas, for tourism also. And in 2008, a famous National Geographic photographer came to the Maldives to film and write a feature story about that particular bay, about those aggregations, and show it to the public. The power of publicity, the power of reaching the general public, obviously. If we don't know about what's happening, if we don't know about shark finning, if we don't know about manta fishery, then we will never react to that. We will never do anything against it. So first of all, we have to be aware of about what's happening, and what's better than important journals like National Geographic magazines, documentaries, etc., to bring it out to the general public all around the world. And the pressure that this article was about to do obviously made the government realize also the importance of this bay, of Hanifaru Bay, the importance of preserving. At first, the government was more concentrated into other marine protected areas that were already established around the country. There's lots of marine protected areas in the Maldives which are there on the paper but have no proper management. So this is something absolutely to be worked on, and the government correctly wanted to first deal with those problems before addressing Hanifaru. But the pressure from media and the sudden realize about the importance, the economic importance of Hanifaru, made them move much faster. And Hanifaru Bay became a marine protected area in June 2009, just a month before the publishing of the National Magazine article on Oceans Day. So this really tells us a lot about how to work in conservation. Obviously, it's important. Science is very important, learning about certain animals, but what is also very important is raising awareness. It's fundamental. Education and raising awareness. These are two very important keys that actually we in the Manta Trust work quite a lot on. Without the publicity that National Geographic magazine, as well as then later on many other magazines and TV channels brought to Hanifaru, maybe today I would not be here talking about Hanifaru Bay, and this wouldn't be a marine protected areas, and mantas would not be there. Obviously, the massive publicity that Hanifaru got in 2009 then spread around the world at the speed of light, reached millions and millions of people all over the world, and that obviously brought Hanifaru to a new level. The level of tourism suddenly boomed. The increase of tourism was of over 250% in 2010 compared to just before that publicity. So again, that was obviously an achievement in terms of Maldivian economy and tourism economy. But on the other side, there was a lot of the impact inside the bay, and on the manta population also grew dramatically. Again, here are some numbers. In 2010-11, Hanifaru alone generated over $1 million just from manta snorkeling trips.